These come in cans from the grocery store. This is in adobo sauce, which is kind of a smoky, spicy sauce. A little bit of this goes a long way. A little bit of it adds some warmth to the dish and adds a slightly smoky flavor. So we're going to add that. And then with a mixer, or you don't have to have a mixer if you don't have one, just a potato masher, we're going to deep whip the potatoes until they are the consistency that we want. I'm going to stop the mixer and scrape down the sides of the bowls. I've got another spoonful of potato here that I'm going to add. So we'll scrape down the side of the bowl so that we get all the yummy potato and the cream cheese and chipotle pepper mixed in. And then we will give it one more mix. And you will see that the chipotle pepper adds a little bit of color and a slight amount of texture to this. The cream cheese, even though it's fat-free, will add some flavor and it will give it a little more creaminess. And so we're going to put on the plate a serving, which would be about 1/2 cup. We'll make it a generous 1/2 cup. And then you can garnish this with herbs, or you can put a little bit of the chipotle pepper on top of the serving. But this is absolutely delicious. And you can compare this at about 110 calories per serving to the regular traditional sweet potato casserole that has cream, butter, and topped with marshmallows at close to 300 calories per serving. So you can see how this would be a delicious and tasty option for the holidays. And this recipe will be included with the recipes that you receive through email at the end of the program. The second thing that I'm going to demonstrate for you today is an apple tart. And because apple pie is such a favorite during the holidays, this is a favorite recipe at our house. What I have done is I'm using a prepared crust. Let it set out, and this is the type that you unroll. You may want to make your own pie crust. You may want to use the type that you mix up yourself, but I just like to use the prepared type. And generally you let this sit out for about 15 minutes before you unroll it. Then I've unrolled it in a pie plate. And the reason I like to use a pie plate, you can do this on a cookie sheet, but we're going to put an apple mixture in here. And sometimes that apple mixture is pretty juicy and the juices may run, and none of us like to clean the oven after that. So what I have here is I use tart apples like a Granny Smith apple. And I have peeled the apple and sliced it in pieces that were about the same size. If you slice it in some large and some very small, when you take it out of the oven and get ready to eat it, you may find that you'll have a little bit more texture than you want to have. If you slice the apple about the same, then everything gets done at the same time. So what I'm going to add to this 3 cups of apple is 1/2 cup of brown sugar and 1 tablespoon of flour. And I'll break that up just a little bit. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to toss this so that the apples are coated with the mixture, the cinnamon, flour, and brown sugar. You know, when you make a regular pie, a two-crust pie, you have the calories of both the top and bottom crust. And you also use about a cup of sugar. This, again, we're using 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And I see that while my sugar was soft, it is kind of lumped up a little bit here, and I don't want that, so I'm going to just mash those lumps out of it the best that I can. Okay, so we're going to mix this up. Well, now I'm going to put this mixture into the pie, center of the pie crust. Being careful not to spill any of that yummy goodness out on the counter. And now I'm going to smooth that out so that it's about an even thickness all around. And then something that I kind of developed myself that I like to do is I have about 1/2 cup of fresh cranberries chopped. Cranberries are so delicious and fresh this time of year. So I'm going to add that for color, texture, and flavor to this apple tart. And then the last thing that we're going to do, I have probably a scant tablespoon of butter, and I'm going to dot the tart with what I hope are pea-shaped pieces of butter. And you don't have to be too exacting with this, but what you do want to do is spread those around the tart so that you're getting a little butter in all parts of it. It's just going to make it a little richer and more tasty. Sam's over there watching and his mouth is watering. So is mine. Okay, and the last thing that we do is fold the crust toward the center. And as I do that, I'm going to fold it over. This is easier than a two-crust pie. And most of us really just want the filling anyway. So I'm going to continue to lap the crust over. And it doesn't have to be perfect at all. There we go. We have preheated the oven to 400 degrees. And so this is going to go in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes and cook until it's nice and golden brown. And then, voila, it's done. So the next thing that we're going to do, this serves 6, so we're cutting it in 6 pieces, and I have already cut it in half. And I'm going to take a slice and put it on this plate, like so. A little bit of the next slice is saying, "Take me to." There we go. Ooh. Now, this has 110 calories as compared to a regular piece of apple pie that has 290 calories, just as it is. Of course, what you top it with, you're on your own with that. But if you want something that will taste good, that is maybe a little lower calorie, there are many, many options at the grocery store, both in whipped topping type things or ice cream or yogurt. But this is absolutely delicious, and I hope you will try it. The recipe will be in the recipes that we send you. And it may become the favorite at your house that it has become at my house. I hope so. So I hope you will try at least one or two of our 3 recipes that we have shared with you today. I have a couple of other interesting pieces of information for you, perhaps just reminders for some of you. And these are some easy ways to cut down on calories for the holidays. One thing that you can do if you're accustomed to drinking soda, regular soft drinks or soda are loaded with sugar, and I'm sure that's not a newsflash, but a regular can of soda has 10 to 12 teaspoons of sugar. So the more you can drink water or other unsweetened beverages like tea, as an example, and not sweet tea, um, sometimes you can put water in a pitcher and it looks really pretty when you drop different types of fruit in it. So we call that fruit infused water. And that would be really pretty for the holidays and something that you might want to try. Every time that you don't drink soft drink, you are omitting 150 calories from your diet. So that is a good place to start. Also, I don't think anybody ever gained a lot of weight from eating cereal, but maybe they did. But studies show that the amount of cereal eaten by adults is about twice the serving size on the box. So where do you find the serving size? You find it in the nutrition facts label on the back of the container. And it will tell you that the serving size is usually 3/4 to 1 cup. So start out with that if you're accustomed to eating more, and then you can always have more if you're still hungry. Remember what I said earlier, and that is to make half of your grains whole. You want to limit the amount of bread and rolls that you eat. And also, when you're cooking, try to use whole wheat flour in bread and rolls as much as possible. What does more fiber do, or what do whole grains do for you? They help you feel more satisfied when you eat. You don't get hungry as quickly. Also, when they go into your bloodstream, they don't turn to sugar and as quickly, and they help you balance your blood sugars. And especially if you're watching your sugar, whole grains are your friend. Fiber is your friend. And your goal for fiber every day is about 25 to 30 grams. So you might take a look at what you've been eating and see if you think you're getting close to that. We talked about topping your baked potato with fewer calories, so that's a good reminder. We spoke about portion sizes and how to tell if you're getting the right portion. We talked about the idea of dressing your salad, not drowning it. So rather than holding the bottle over your salad dressing, or over your salad, the bottle of dressing over your salad, and just squirting it on there or pouring it on there, portion it out and add it to your salad and give it a toss, and you'll get similar flavor. Also, when you're having fast food, most of us do at times, some more than others, but rather than supersizing, eat a regular portion. That includes burgers and fries, and also things like pizza. And when you're tempted to have that extra one, A dietitian friend of mine said to me one time when we were with a group having pizza, she said, try just having half a piece if you want another one. And sometimes that's enough. So I thought that was really good advice. If you're having popcorn, which is a family favorite, it's easy to eat half a bag of microwave popcorn. The regular serving size would be 2 cups, and that's without the butter, and that would be about 100 calories or less. Also, control your portions of dessert. Think of dessert as a treat and not as a snack and not as something that you have every day. So at special meals, go ahead and have your dessert and enjoy it. Enjoy the flavor. If you're trying to cut down, maybe you could split the piece of pie or cake with someone if you want to. But the important thing is just to remember that dessert is a treat. It's important also to remember that if you eat a balanced meal and healthy snacks, you're going to be less likely to crave high calorie snacks with empty calories. There's room for all foods in our diets. And so if you follow the guidelines that we've given you today, you will be on your way to having a healthy meal pattern. And remember what Sam told you, especially during our times now, very important to wash hands before going in the kitchen to cook or before sitting down to eat. And it's really important for parents to teach children proper hand washing and then not to assume that they're just going to automatically do that, but to supervise and monitor what they're doing so that everyone can stay well. And remember to read your nutrition facts label on the back of the container. So again, developing healthier meal patterns that include nourishing snacks and lower calorie recipes is a journey, and it's going to look different at different times in our lives. Sam and I have shared some tips and dishes that we hope you'll find useful during the holidays and beyond. And now that we're finished with what we wanted to say, we have some time for questions and comments. And I also want to direct you to the chat box at the bottom of your screen. And you can respond to the survey by clicking on the link, and that will give us feedback on our presentation today. Again, thank you for participating. Does anyone have questions? I'm going to take that as a no, and Sarah Richard has put up the link to the survey, and you can respond to that through text or just through the computer link. And we would really, it's not required, but we would really appreciate it if you did. You can also look for the information from this presentation to be emailed to you along with the recipes that we've prepared today. Okay, thank you, Stephanie. She said very informative. I appreciate that.
All right. Well,
There's some, okay.
I guess that, I mean, with that being said, I would like to thank everyone for attending. And if you have any questions, I'm sure that not only Sarah, but myself or Janet can help you. You can get a hold of us through our emails or anything like that. So I personally want to thank everyone. So thank you again.
Okay.